Johnny, I think Gabriel is already here. Maybe can you make him co-host as well?
Roger.
Thanks. And also Clarice. Clarice.
Clarice Sampang.
Let me check if she's the one. Yep, yep.
Okay, yeah, I had a different name here. Sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Gotcha. I have Gabriel and Clarice. Thank you.
Hello, mic test.
I got
Hello, hello. Okay, good.
Johnny. I think we already have our Zeltec friends with us. Miracle, Reina, and Kimberly.
So, should I start the 5 minute timer?
Um, no, not yet. Just make them co-host for for the meantime.
I saw Miracle, I don't see Kimberly.
Alright, let me check.
Is there anybody else that we're missing?
Amir, can you confirm if Ina and Kimberly is already on the call?
I don't see Kimberly, Garlitos, or Reina. Oh, Reina's already there. Never mind. Is there anybody else that I haven't made co-host, Richmond?
Let me check. Johnny, I think there are two. There's one named Miracle Girl and the other is Princess Miracle Girl. Maybe can you make them both co-hosts?
Are they both the same person?
I think they're different. I think we'll find out when we can talk to them.
No, I'm not going to make
And
co-host somebody who's
and they
not it.
can't
So let's find out who it is, and I'll make co-host the right one.
Yeah, they can't unmute for now.
Yeah, hi Richmond, this is Reina. So we just use one same link, so that's why we're all three
Yeah.
miracles. So I just renamed mine.
All right, all right.
Thank you.
So I should make them both co-host
yep.
then? All right.
Thank you, Johnny.
Should I start the 5-minute counter or not yet?
Last one, Johnny. I think Jocelyn was dropped out of the call. Can you make her co-host again?
Stand by.
Red 81. Yeah, then maybe we can start the 5-minute countdown now, Johnny.
Will do.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the day 5, our last day of the 2022 Essential Test Automation Bootcamp. To those of you who are excited to finally go through the last stretch of our bootcamp, can you say essentials in the chat? Let's see some excited people from our group. Type essentials if you're excited to finish this strong. All right. A lot of people are. Thank you for those who replied enthusiastically to my request. Again, we're at the last day already of our test automation bootcamp. For our agenda for today, so we'll have a brief introduction of our mentors and sponsors, sponsor talk from Deltec tonight, and our main topic for this evening is Agile testing from Jocelyn Acuna and Q&A after. Recap of our house rules for the last time. So keep your mic muted at all times. We'll use Slido for our questions. And as an important note, we'll give certificates to those who have completed the bootcamp. That's why we're having the attendance every session. So for those who haven't filled up the attendance format, they'll send it in the link later. And by the end of the session, we'll again ask for your feedback. For this year's bootcamp, these are our sponsors: Cambridge University Press and Assessment, Deltec, DBE Store, and Lambda Test. We have a pack full of mentors tonight. I think most of us are present. So as mentioned, Joyce Acuna will be our main speaker. We'll have Anthony Shumal, Gabriel Castellan, yours truly, Karish Shonko, and Grasel Dunca as our mentors. I think we'll have ER later as well to join us as our mentor. And Ministry of Testing is also looking for volunteers. So as you see, these are for our activities this year, our regular meetup, this bootcamp, and many more to come. We'd like to involve you guys if you want to be a volunteer. So we'll be sending a form for you to sign up if you are interested to volunteer for Ministry of Testing PH. I'll be sending it in the chat for a while. Okay, so before I hand you over to our sponsors for this evening, maybe let's have our last photo op for this bootcamp. If you guys can open your cam, Johnny will help me in this for you to be able to open your cam, and let's have our final photo op. I'll stop sharing my screen for the meantime. so that I can see you guys. There you go. So we have four greets this time. Smile. I'll start with the first one. Okay. Smile. And keep on smiling. Second one now. Okay, third one. And last. Okay, thank you everyone for showing your faces. Let me now reshare my screen. Okay. So for our sponsors this evening, we have Deltec and Cambridge. So for Cambridge, please watch out in our Facebook page and Cambridge Facebook page for more contests and prizes. So for this evening, we have Reina and Kimberly for Deltec. Hi, Reina and Kimberly. Passing it to you.
Yep, Miracle is also here, Richmond.
Hi, Miracle.
Hi,
I didn't see you. Welcome
hi
again,
Richmond.
our Deltec friends. Welcome to tonight's bootcamp.
Thank you so much. We'll discuss more about the company as well as the three activities that we have prepared again for the rest of the boot campers. But for now, let me turn you over again to Richmond so he can discuss with our speakers for the night, and then we'll talk.
All right. Let me just introduce a speaker before um, Deltec will speak about their company. So for tonight, Joyce is currently a senior QA in Cambridge University Press and Assessment, and she's focusing on testing and process improvement. She's ISTQB Foundations and Agile Tester certified, and she also loves collecting mugs and ref magnets. So later you'll hear Joyce speak about Agile testing and to introduce more about herself. And back to you, Miracle, Reina, and Kimberly.
Thank you so much, Richmond. Can you hear me okay, or is my internet connection quite unstable?
I'm
We
hearing you fine from my end, Miracle.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Richmond, for confirming. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, can you see it now?
we can see it.
Okay, so again, we are Team Daltech. So my name is Miracle Diao. I have with me my colleagues Reina Kanda and Kimberly Garlitos. We are part of the recruitment pillar of Daltech. And to discuss more about the company, we are proud to be recognized for our product innovation, customer support programs, and workplace culture. Daltech has been in the industry since 1983, and here in the Philippines, we have been operating since 1999. We are ranked 192 by Forbes for Best Mid-Size Employer in 2022 and has been recognized as the best place to work in Asia for 10 consecutive years. So we would like to encourage everyone to join our Deltec Talent community to receive insights about Deltec's culture and the work we do, and hear firsthand from our employees about what it's like to work here at Deltec. You may scan the QR code that you can see on the left side of your screen. And later on, we will also send through chat box the links that you will be needing for this Deltec Talent community. And I believe some of you have expressed interest to explore opportunities. So we also encourage you to check the available opportunities in our career site. All you have to do is also to scan the QR code and let us know what positions interest you. So now, without further ado, let's discuss about the three activities that we have prepared for you today. So the first activity is our like, follow, and win. So all you have to do is to like and follow Deltec's social media accounts so that you can get a chance to be one of the lucky 20 winners who will receive 500 peso e-gift certificate. So you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All you have to do is to look for Happy at Deltec's account and then take a screenshot reflecting completion of the first step. Once you're done, kindly scan the QR code that you can see on the bottom right of the screen and send your entry no later than December 4th or Sunday of this week. Winners will receive an email on December 6th for the prize claim process. Again, all you have to do is to follow us and then send a screenshot of the confirmation on the smart sheet or QR code that you can see, and then we'll let you know by December 6th if you're one of the lucky 20 winners of 500 peso EGC that you can avail through GrabPay, Maya, or GCash. Okay, so now let me turn you over to my colleague Reina Kanda so she can discuss about our game for tonight.
Okay, so thanks, Miracle. So, hi, everyone. Good evening. So, welcome again to our Ministry of Testing Bootcamp. I think this will be the last day. So, I'll be sharing my screen just to discuss the second activity, which you can win 500 pesos for the first prize. Second prize will be 300 pesos, and third prize will be 200. So, let me know if you can see my screen. Oops. All right. Okay, can you tell me if you can see my screen now?
Yep, we can see it
All
now.
good. All right. So we'll have again our quick icebreaker game using our rolljack.me. This could be accessible through Google Chrome browser. So our activity for today is still guess the logo. You can already access that. I'll be sharing later on the game pin, or you can scan the QR code. And each question will be answerable within 15 seconds. So the questions will be shared via Zoom by the facilitator, which will be me, and the participants will be keying their answers using their browser or their mobile phone, and so on. All right. So the goal of the game, the first and the fastest to provide the correct answers have the highest chance of winning the game. So only 100 participants who can join the main session within 1 minute will be included in the game. So, of course, winner will receive their Universal e-gift certificates no later than December 6th via email and mobile number. All right. So, I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll just key in again our pin here. So, if you guys ready, can you chat in Deltac in our chat group here? Okay. Let me just key in. All right. Seems like everyone is ready. I'll just share now our. Okay. Oops. Okay. So you can already scan the QR code or the session code here. I'll share the link in our chat box. Hang on. Oops. Sorry. All right. So can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll give you a minute to join our icebreaker activity. Okay, we already have 37 participants, going 40. So let's see who will be the lucky winners for tonight. All right. So to anyone who won't be able to join our activity, so you can just participate in our social media game activity while we're waiting for the others. Okay, so we already have 54 participants. I'll close the session in 10 seconds. To anyone who can still join. All right, going 55. We already have half of the participants here. Okay, I'll start the game. Good luck, guys. Okay, guess this logo. What will be your answer? Okay. We have some of here who are already got the correct answer. So Alma Joy as our first place. Second place is Ismael, and third place is Micah. All right. Let's see our next logo. Okay. So let's wait. Okay. So correct answer is UFT1. Let's see who got the correct answer. All right, we have Berna on the top, followed by Alma and also Ismael. So again, we will only award 3 lucky winners for our activity. We still have 8 questions left. Let's see. All right, so guess this logo. Let's see who will be the one. All right, correct answer is Ranorex Studio. Let's see who is in our leaderboard. Leaderboard, I mean. Okay, so we have a new top one. That is Mark, followed by Berna, and third place is Michael. So Grace, Mike, and Julia, you can still make it to the top 3. Let's see our next question. Okay, so can you guess this logo? If you're using it, maybe you know it already. Okay, still loading. Who will be the winner? Yes, 94% got the correct answer. It's Postman. Let's see who's our leaderboard. Okay, so Mark is still on top, followed by Michael, and third place is Micah. All right, so let's key in the next one. So how many points did Michael Jordan score on his first NBA game? Let's see if we can guess it right. Correct answer is 16. Only 17% of our participants got the correct answer. Let's see if there are any changes here. Okay, wow. Micah is already on top, followed by Mark and Michael. Okay, what will be the next question? All right, so the unicorn is the national animal of which country? Okay, so correct answer, it's Scotland. So I didn't know that unicorn really exists, but that's their national animal. Let's see. Are there any changes? Okay, so way to go, Rolly. Followed by Micah and Mark. So there's some new names here. Okay, next question. It is responsible for creating a test harness with a mechanism to connect with the application under test, take input from a file, execute the test cases, and generate the reports for test execution. So what will be your answer? Okay, correct answer, automation testing framework. 45% of our participants got it. Let's see. Are there any changes to their leaderboard? Okay, so Grace is now on top, followed by Rolly and Diona. We can still catch up, guys. In this framework, the tester creates scripts for each module of the application under test individually, and then these scripts are combined in the hierarchical order to create large test cases. So what is your answer? Okay, correct answer, modular testing framework. Okay, Grace is still on top, followed by Rolly. Third place is Mark. Okay. With this framework, we can run multiple test cases where only the input data differs and the steps of execution are the same. So this is the second to the last question before we reveal the winner. Let's see. Okay. Correct answer, data-driven testing framework. Let's see if there are any changes with our leaderboard. Okay, Grace is still on top. Then James and Julia, our newcomers in our leaderboard. Okay, last questions before we'll reveal the winners. Are you ready to make an impact? This is just a bonus question, the fastest to type the answer. Okay, let's see. who are the winners for our session. Okay, congratulations, first place. You won 500 EGC Grace. Second place is James, and third is Rolly. So we will be reaching out to you directly on how you can claim your raffle prizes. So to anyone who are still looking for opportunities, so you may scan again the QR code here in our career with hashtag Team Daltech so that we can reach out to you for the application. So with that, I'll turn it now over to Kim, my colleague, for the last activity. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Reina. So let me share my screen first. So guys, this would be our last activity for this day. So hopefully you were able to fill out our registration form because there that would be the list that we'll be using in our wheel of names. So let me share my screen first. Okay, can everybody see my screen now? So can I see a raise of hands?
Yep, I can
All
see it.
right. Thank you so much, guys. So again, this would be our last activity. So this is a raffle activity. So we will be giving out 300 pesos e-gift certificates where you can redeem via GCash, Grab, and PayMaya. So there will be 5 winners of e-gift certificates. Okay, so you just have to type present within 5 seconds, and then failure to do so, we will spin the wheel again and will give opportunities to other participants. So again, the prizes will be given to you on December 6th, and it will be provided through your mobile and email accounts. Okay, so let's start our first spin. So let's see who's the lucky winner of 300 e-gift certificate. Okay, so for our first winner, congratulations, Sela Jane Remon. So Sela, can I see your present? Okay, so Sela is here. So let's move on with the second winner. So for our second winner, congratulations to Monique Nick Patalinghug. So Nick, can I see your? All right, so Nick is also here. So let's move on with the third winner. All right, so let's see from Alma Joy. Are you here, Alma Joy De Leon? All right, so Alma is also here. So they are very lucky. So we only have 2 winners left. So for our fourth winner, congratulations with Emil. So Emil also here. So Loreto, most of the winners are girls, right? So hopefully you can win as well. So last winner for this round, for this game. So for our last lucky winner, so congratulations for Maki Jerome Maza. So Maki, can I see if you're present? 5. Okay, present. So Maki is here. So congratulations, guys. And again, thank you so much for having us here. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of the bootcamp activity. And we would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Testing for inviting Deltec to be your sponsor for this bootcamp. So again, congratulations for all the winners and for those participants who have finished the 5-day bootcamp training. And I hope you guys learned a lot during this bootcamp, and we are hoping to see you again in the future. So if you are again interested with opportunities within Daltech, you can scan this QR code where you can see our career site, and you can apply there directly as well. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Again, we are Daltech. Mira, Rain, and Rita. So back to you, Richmond.
Thank you again, Kim, Reina, and Miracle, and Deltec for being with us in the past days here in Test Automation Bootcamp. I know the participants are very excited when when you're here. So thank you again for sponsoring this year's bootcamp. And now, are you excited to learn Agile testing? Before I hand you over to Joyce, type Agile testing if you're excited to learn Agile. All right. Okay, to kick off our um, night for learning on Agile testing, let me turn you over now to Jocelyn Acuña. Hi, to Joyce.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So let me share my screen first. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
All right. Again, good evening, everyone. So my name is Jocelyn Acuña, but you can call me Joyce for short. On those prizes provided by Deltec. So even if it's already late in the evening, I guess you have not taken your dinner yet. And if not, you can grab something to eat. So my name is Joyce again, and I'm a graduate of Business Administration from the University of Santo Tomas. So my hobbies are mug, specifically those icon mugs from Starbucks from different countries, and also ref magnet collections. And in the olden times, I also have the stamp collections because we used to send mails via the post office. So, nor any computer staff courses. I used to work as an executive assistant, or in other term, as executive secretary. So when I joined Cambridge University Press, and that was 2010, I was hired as the PA to the regional managing director for Asia Pacific of Cambridge. It is just me and my boss. I don't have any teammate. So I don't belong to any team. But unfortunate event happened due to illness, so he left Cambridge for medical reasons. So I was left alone, and the only position available is the QA position, which I don't have any knowledge of. And that was the first time I've heard about testing. This is a different story to tell, my journey from EA to QA, and that would be a lot of time to spend. So that is how I started as a QA. I saw a comment from the Ministry of Testing Facebook page asking if she can join the workshop, even if she does not have any knowledge in software testing. I don't know if she is now in the audience. So the big answer is yes. And I am a living proof to that. As long as you have the passion, the patience, the interest, and you're longing to learn new things. Okay, tonight we will talk about agile testing. This will be our topics for tonight. So agile, Scrum, Kanban, agile testing. And we have a quiz after this. I just selected some of the topics because this agile testing is a broad topic, and this will not be discussed in just one session. So let us start first with what is agile. They say that agile is a mindset. It is not a set of strict rules to follow. When we say mindset, it is a mental attitude. It is a person's way of thinking and what their opinions are. Agile is a set of values and principles which we call Agile Manifesto. We will discuss this later. Agile is the courage to be honest enough to admit that building software is complex and it can't be perfectly planned since requirements change. So in a broad definition of agile software development, Agile software development is a group of software development process based on iterative. When I say iterative, it is a repetitive process. It keeps on repeating. And incremental. When you say incremental, it keeps on adding. There are changes. Development, where requirements and solutions involved through collaboration between self-organizing cross-functional teams. So instead of betting everything on a big bang lunch, an agile team delivers work in small but consumable increments. Less product team adjusts its priorities and plans. The team do not get stuck in outdated plans simply because they have committed to seeing it through. Now, let us talk about Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto was written in 2001 by 17 independent-minded software practitioners. While the participants didn't often agree, they did find consensus around four core values, and they call this Agile Manifesto. So these are the four Agile Manifesto. You can see the value on the left side, and which are in orange, and the value on the right side, which are in yellow. So Agile Manifesto is the basis for Scrum. That is, while there is value in the items on the right, the value of the items, we give more values on the items on the left. All right. So the first manifesto is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. The team and their ability to communicate as effectively and efficiently is more valuable than the processes they follow or the tools they use. This is not to say that agile philosophies discourage formalized processes of tools. Both can be helpful in providing structure for your team and facilitating interactions. But at the end of the day, they come second. Processes and tools are worthless if your team cannot communicate. That is why in agile methodology, communication is very important. We communicate daily during our stand up and other ceremonies. All of us should not be afraid. The team members should not be afraid to ask if there is something that is not clear to use, especially during refinement or planning. We should express ourselves. There is no wrong question to that. Next manifesto is the working software over comprehensive documentation. In a traditional product development process or waterfall methodology, they often require extensive documentation before codes are written. So under the agile philosophy, getting software in the hands of the customer is the highest priority. We collect feedback from the real users. It is also important to note that documentation in itself is not a bad thing, lest removing it. This is just to say that we should not overdo it. It is still important to document those critical phases just in case we need to review them or a new member joined the team. We have something to go back to. Right, so next. Oh, by the way, this is a sample. I did it way back 2015, sample test plan. So this is one of the documents that we are doing because we had the waterfall methodology before in Cambridge. And here is also a sample of a test cases. So in the test cases, there is not only one. Sometimes there are 100 test cases, and we put in a traceability metrics. So it is very tedious for QAs. Sometimes you also do a Word format of the test procedures before. So the next manifesto is the customer collaboration over contract negotiation. This is very important. So we need actual communication with the customer. But this is the task of the PO or the product owner to know what the customer's needs are and where their challenges are. In traditional process, we allowed contracts to dictate what was delivered. There is specific plan to be followed, but in agile philosophy, we encourage building a continuous customer feedback loop into development cycles. Customer collaboration begins early in the development process and happens frequently. By doing so, it will help and ensure that we are delivering effective and useful solutions to customers, and this will also reduce risk. Okay, and the last one is responding to change over following a plan. As the saying goes, change is constant, so it appears everywhere, all the time, and that's what Agile and Scrum are aware of. That's why in Scrum we need to inspect work during the sprint and adapt accordingly in order to respond to changes. It is an important difference from previous approaches that were fully focused on the plan, frequently without adjusting it when changes appeared. So if there are Agile Manifesto, there is also this 12 principles of Agile Manifesto. Given the 12 Agile principles, we can identify the corresponding Agile Manifesto for each of the principles. So for example, for number one, customer satisfaction. The corresponding Agile Manifesto is number three, which is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And for number two, welcome changing requirements. The corresponding manifesto would be number four, which is responding to change over following a plan. For number three, deliver working software frequently. It corresponds to manifesto number two, which is working software over comprehensive documentation. And for number six, face-to-face conversation is essential. It corresponds to manifesto number one, which is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. I am not going to discuss everything. So we'll go next to the agile values. All right. The Scrum values are the life and blood of the Scrum framework. The Scrum values are the foundation for behavior and practices in Scrum. They are closely related to the theory and first principles of Scrum and support teams in their work. The Scrum team can always fall back on these essentials, so we have courage, focus, commitment, respect, and openness. Let me go through them one by one. So first, courage. So Scrum team members have courage to do the right thing and work on top problems. This value is strictly related to transparency, which is one of the pillars of empiricism. I will discuss it also later. When it comes to telling the truth, especially when it is not a comfortable situation for us, it requires courage. In our daily life, it means talking about problems, expressing opinion, even if it is different. You need to have courage to tell about your mistakes or ask team members for help. So how can we connect this value with Scrum? Without courage, you cannot be transparent. And without being transparent, you are not able to adapt to changes, which is a crucial part of the product development. Next, we have focus. In Scrum, in Scrum events, we have purpose and there are time box. It means that they have a maximum duration. It helps team members to be focused on their work and the team goal and to be focused on their work and the sprint goal. So in order to achieve what our customer wants, we need to focus on their needs. So Scrum allows us to be focused on the most important element, and that is the customer's needs, which is reflected in the sprint goal. work that needs to be done to fulfill them, and collaboration with other team members in order to achieve it. Focus means also no necessary distraction. So the Scrum Master should protect the development team from that and remove all impediments on your way. So next we have commitment. People personally commit to achieving the goals of the Scrum team. When you are committed, it doesn't mean that you are doing it because you must do it, but because you want to do it. In Scrum, commitment can be demonstrated in multiple ways, for example, to people, the sprint goal, or to your own work. What does it mean in our daily activities? So, taking responsibility for tasks that we committed to finish, being actively involved in all events. It means also asking questions if there is something that we don't understand, or letting know about bugs and issues. So why is commitment important in Scrum? Because great high quality products are not created by people who must, but they are developed by those who want it. Right? So let's go to respect. Respect is definitely my favorite Scrum value. I believe that lack of respect is the reason for most of the communication and product delivery issues. Only by respecting people, we can collaborate with them and have our mind open for their ideas. So we need to listen to other people's ideas. In the Scrum team, it is really important to respect the way people think, work, and their level of skills. Showing respect means not judging if someone makes mistakes, but helping to fix them. The value is also important in regards to all interactions with the client. Respect helps in developing trustworthy relationship and understanding clients' needs. And last but not the least, openness. The value is also part of the transparency. It can mean sharing your ideas and knowledge with others. Openness is also related to being transparent about daily activities and challenges that appear during our work. The important part of the Scrum is being open to changes and adapting to them. During inspection events like retrospective, openness can help to find out what went well during the sprint and what should be improved. That's how the team can constantly improve their work and develop their skills. Now let us go to the agile development models. There are many agile development models, but we will discuss tonight Scrum and Kanban for now. In waterfall, you cannot test not until the development is finished. So what is Scrum? This is a definition from the dictionary. But the Scrum Guide is developed by Ken Swaber and Jeff Sutherland. Scrum is a framework within which people can address complex adaptive problems while productively and creatively delivering products of the highest possible value. They say Scrum is lightweight, simple to understand, but difficult to master. So, what is Scrum? Scrum is one of the agile methodologies designed to guide teams in the iterative, I said again, iterative, that is repetitive and incremental, keep on adding and changing, delivery of a product. This is often referred to as an agile project management framework. Its focus is on the use of an empirical process that allows teams to respond rapidly, efficiently, and effectively to change. Now, Here are the three pillars of empiricism. The core of Scrum is an empirical process. What is empiricism in Scrum, you might ask? Empiricism in Scrum is an approach whereby the team continuously learns and improves from mistakes. In Scrum, empiricism means that the team makes decisions and changes based on what the customer is actually experiencing rather than what the developers intended them to experience. Empiricism also invites us to innovate and experiment with different ways to develop our product. For your team to really benefit from implementing Scrum, you should completely change your way of thinking about product development and self-organization. So how can we meet this challenge? Of course, by familiarizing yourself with the concept of these three pillars of Scrum in practice, which are transparency, inspection, adaptation. They are what makes Scrum successful. Can you see this trust? Trust is the bedrock of self-organizing agile teams. So first up, we have transparency. It means that every part of the process should be clear for everybody on the Scrum team. Transparency allows each team member to track and understand what's really going on in each sprint, what the plan is, what the progress is, and what the planned input and outcome are. A good example of this is during our daily stand-ups and by using a universal language to be easily understood by everyone in the team, meaning don't use terms that are too technical. Like as you are not that too technical. So next would be inspection, timely checks on the progress toward a sprint goal. According to Scrum Guide, the Scrum artifacts in the progress toward agreed goals must be inspected frequently and diligently to detect potentially undesirable variances or problems. Inspection is done by everyone involved in the project. So not only the QAs, but as well as developers and the POs. Every Scrum event should be used for inspection. Sprint planning is an example of inspection. The team inspect what they already have planned and what they would like to move to the next sprint. And lastly, adaptation. Adaptation in this context is about continuous improvement. It is the ability to adapt based on the results of the inspection. So everyone in the organization must ask questions regularly. Okay, we have a so-called elements of Scrum framework. Now let us explore these elements. These are roles, artifacts, events, and we will discuss them in the next slides. So now first things first. In order to get started, we should identify first the three artifacts in the Scrum. And these are the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the product increment or the sprint goal. These three are the artifacts that keep the team focused on the work. Now, the product backlog is the list of work that the product owner needs to get done. It contains features, requirements, and fixes that are prioritized and maintained by the team. I hold it. Next would be the sprint backlog. The sprint backlog is the list of items that the team selects for the next sprint. These are the items that the team will work on during the sprint based on the current iteration of the product backlog. It can be flexible as it can evolve during sprint, but the team's core sprint goal remains the same. The team selects this item before the planning meeting and the sprint planning session begins. Now, the sprint goal or the increment is the usable end product of a sprint. Some teams define it as done or something that is ready for release at the end of a sprint. Work that's finished in a 2 week sprint may be labeled as done. So those are the sprint artifacts. Now to have a closer, this is how it looked like. So in the left, these are the potential software changes which can be features, fixes, or bugs, or even technical work. Now, these are the product backlog. And from the product backlog, the team selects those that will be part of the sprint, which we now call sprint backlog. And those backlogs will be put in the product increment. Increment is the sum of all product backlogs items completed during the sprint. Now, the next artifact is the Scrum roles. Now, to introduce you to the team, this is the Scrum team, which are composed of the product owner, the Scrum Master, the development team, which can be composed of developers, testers, business analysts, or designers. Okay, this is the Scrum team. This is the development team. This is the Scrum Master and the product owner. The Scrum teams are self-organizing and cross-functional. Self-organizing team doesn't need to be managed by someone outside the team. The team knows the best way to organize and accomplish their work. Cross-functional, what does it mean? It means that together in a team, they have all skills required to do the work. They don't need to depend on others who are not part of the team. So to make their work even more effective, the development team should aim for spreading the knowledge in the team. It can be achieved by practices like pair programming for developers and peer testing for testers. Okay, so let us go to the product owner. So she has so many tasks. The product owner interacts with the team. She is responsible for managing the product backlog. She needs to have a deep understanding of the product. She can decide what directions of the development will be the most valuable, makes decisions, and PO is also the main link between the business or stakeholders and the development team. The PO or the product owner should fully understand the business needs and clearly express them to the team. The product owner is typically a key stakeholder in the overall project. They typically have a broad vision for what the final product needs to look like and how it will impact the end user. In most cases, the product owner also works directly with the client to make sure their needs are met and help define the project scope. Next, we have the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master serves the team, servant leader. She helps to remove impediments. She facilitates some of the Scrum events, like daily stand-up meetings and retrospective meetings. She protects the team from outside interference and helps the team to adopt agile development practices. She educates or coaches and guides the product owner and the team and the rest of the organization in the skillful use of Scrum. And then we have now the development team. This is composed of developers, testers, designers, VAs, and the ideal size would be seven, 7 - 2 or 7 + 2. So that would be a minimum of 5 or a maximum of 9. Individual development team members may accountability belongs to the development team as a whole. Right. So the last artifact, it is the Scrum events or ceremonies. So for the Scrum events or ceremonies, we have the sprint itself. the sprint planning, the daily scrum or stand up, the sprint review, and the sprint retrospective. So let us discuss them one by one. Sprints are at the very heart of Scrum, and agile methodologies and getting sprints right will help your agile team ship better software. Sprint is just a short or time box period when a Scrum team works to complete a set amount of work. During a sprint, work is done to create new features based on the user stories and backlogs. A new sprint starts immediately after the current sprint ends. Sprint planning. So sprint planning is here we craft a sprint goal and plan to achieve it. This is attended by all team members, facilitated by the PO or the product owner. They look at the product backlog and pick up features that can be accommodated by the team to be included in the next sprint, in the sprint. So the daily stand up. Daily stand up meetings should bring the whole team together for a brief discussion of what is currently going on in everyone's working day. Ideally, team members should be co-located, meaning they should be in the same room facing each other at the same time daily. This is a 15-minute stand-up meeting, so literally members are all standing while attending this meeting. Now for updates for each member during the SU, we answer these first to what did you do yesterday. So I have done testing this ticket, for example, regarding so and so, and then move it to peer review. And then the question, what will you do today? I will work on the ticket number and will start testing on these. And for impediments, for example, I am having problems with my internet connection. So we just have to be honest because I know they will understand. Next will be the sprint review. This happens at the end of the sprint. Scrum team, along with customers and end users. This is to review the work completed in the sprint with stakeholders. So ideally, work completed will be demoed to the customers and or end users, and this is where we get feedback from them, whether they are contented with the development done or they wanted to add or change some designs or functionality or improvement. And then the sprint retrospective. This is a meeting held at the end of an iteration or at the end of every sprint, participated in by the Scrum team, facilitated by the Scrum Master. The aim of this meeting is to review the product development process and identify areas for continuous improvement and to answer what went well, what did not work well, and what can be improved. Retrospective can be thought of as a lessons learned meeting. Agile stresses the importance of continuous improvement, and having a retrospective is one of the most important agile development practices. Key. Now, let us take a look first on the Scrum process. Here, this is the Scrum process at a glance. Here we can see all the elements of the Scrum role. We can see the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the development team. The artifacts, the product backlog, the sprint backlog, the sprint itself, and the increment of the finished works. The events as well, the sprint planning, the daily stand-up, the sprint review, and the retrospective. So here we can see the product backlog, which is prioritized by the PO, and then the team will select the tickets that they can commit during sprint planning, and those tickets will be sprint backlog, which the developer and testers will work on during the 2-week sprint. And a daily stand-up for about 15 minutes, and then release of the increment or done features or product. And in a sprint review will be conducted and the products will be demoed to the stakeholders. And lastly, they will do the sprint retrospective. So that is Scrum process. Then we'll go to Kanban. So what is Kanban? So from the term itself, Kan is meaning visual, Ban meaning map or board. So Kanban is a strategy for optimizing the flow of value through a process that uses a visual work in progress limited pool system. Now, there are two things that constitute a Kanban board, that is visualization of the workflow and the work in progress limits. So we have these Kanban practices. First, the Scrum team can achieve flow optimization by using these four Kanban practices. We have the visualization of the workflow. This now, as you can see, this is what a Kanban board look like. But I'm gonna show you an actual Kanban board. This is our Kanban board in our team. The ideal movement is to the right. So from the left to the right. This is how we apply transparency because everyone in the team have visibility on the board and see the progress. This board is also being discussed in our daily stand up, so each member can give his or her update on the ticket that he is working on. Okay, number two, limiting work in progress or WIP. For some teams use this work in progress limit. So for example, there are six that has been set here as the maximum number to be pulled in the test column. If the developer adds another one, the test column will be highlighted in red, which means that it has reached its maximum limit. The primary effect of limiting work in progress is that it creates a pull system. It is called pull system because the team starts work on an item or a ticket only when it is clear that it has the capacity to do so or they have understood what the stakeholders want, coupled with the acceptance criteria provided by the PO. Next is the active management of work items in progress. This is the team's responsibility to make sure that work items are pulled into the workflow and that does not just sit in a certain column without giving any attention to it. Sometimes a row is being added for expedite or block tickets so that the team can respond quickly to those issues. And lastly, inspect and adopt, which are two of the pillars of empiricism, which we have discussed earlier. The Scrum team uses the existing Scrum events like stand up or sprint review or retrospective so that they would be able to get feedback for improvement. All right. So what is our takeaway in this? For us testers, we should stop and start finishing. So what you have started, you must always finish. Now let us go to the Agile functional testing approaches. Functional testing in Agile looks at the behavior of a feature when it interacts with the rest of the system, customers, and users. The main goal of functional testing is to evaluate whether the product works as the users expect it and as developers designed it to. In Agile, a wide range of approaches to Agile functional testing have been developed, and some of the most popular approaches include these three. So first, we have the acceptance test-driven development or TDD, behavior-driven development or BDD, and lastly, exploratory testing. Let us go each one of them. So acceptance test-driven development or ATDD. This method integrates the perspective and needs of the tester, developer, and customer. The initial goal is to create an acceptance test that is based on the customer's point of view. And by doing this, the testing is focused on what could go wrong from the user's perspective. This gives developers direct insight into what customers want and how the product will be used. Here, acceptance criteria comes in, which is the PO's responsibility based on the needs and wants of the user. And this is where the developers base their fixes and work, and where testers follow when testing. So next would be the behavior-driven development, or the BDD. This method runs scenarios or example-based communications between developers, testers, and business. The formulation of the scenarios will include clear information about how different inputs and situations will affect the behavior of a particular feature. And lastly, we have the exploratory testing. Exploratory testing allows a tester to design, execute, analyze, and learn from non-scripted tests. This method is highly adaptable to changes and allows the team to identify issues in the functionality of a product through seemingly random exploration. Based on the finding of each exploration, the tester now learns and designs future test plans. So, what do you think is the purpose of exploratory testing? Anyone? Can you put on the chat? Can you give any purpose that you know of exploratory testing? Uh, is there any entry? I cannot see the chat. Sorry.
There's one from Ariel on spot checking of bugs.
Mhm.
That's all we have so far, actually.
All right.
To test,
I think you are
there's another
asleep
one.
now.
To test for future possible scenarios. It's from
Okay.
Jose.
Mhm. All right.
And this
So,
one, maybe last
mhm.
one, Ate Joyce, from Rangel, allows you to think outside the box and come up with use cases that might not be covered in a test case.
Okay. Every one of you are correct. So, purpose is basically check scenarios not covered by the acceptance criteria, and also to review the quality of products while we are exploring the system. This is also our chance to see critical bugs with less test preparation. And it would be ideal also if we practice aside from exploratory testing, we practice peer testing as well. Well, because we say that two heads are better than one, we are not perfect. There might be scenarios that we were not able to perform, and our colleagues can give us some ideas, inputs, or suggestions. So peer testing can be done with other testers, developers, or even with our POs. All right, let us now go to agile testing. Here is a definition by Lisa Crispin and Janet Gregory in their book with the same title, Agile Testing. So we must listen to them because they are the expert. So agile testing, it is a collaborative testing principle, meaning we should collaborate with our customers, developers, POs, and our co-QAs that occur from inception to delivery. So from the very start until the product is done. Testing activities focus on defect prevention rather than defect detection. That is why we test early and ask for early feedback, because we wanted to prevent defects. Why should we wait for defects to occur if we can prevent it early? This is the whole team's responsibility, which is quality. So currently in our team, we are giving importance to exploratory testing, and we are researching on what other methods to use. So as testers, we should think out of the box. we should not rely much on acceptance criteria, but instead, we need to explore. We should check scenarios not covered by the ACs. By doing so, we can review the quality of products while exploring the system. So when we say that the feature has been tested, it means that it was checked and at the same time we explored. Uh, are you still alive, guys? Or are you sleeping now? So I can give you an icebreaker. So this is not related to testing. Age does, as they say, age doesn't matter in lab. So my motto now is age doesn't matter in testing. So the first one to answer what my real age now, I can give 500 pesos. Please type in the chat. Richmond, can you see who will be the who can give the correct answer?
Yeah, I'll help you when you reveal your age, Ate.
I'll chat it with you there. If you see a correct answer,
Okay, so while I'm looking for this one. Maybe the mentors can also add some ideas on what we have earlier.
Siguro silip tayo dun sa Slido. Let's see kung meron mga tanong. Quick look. Hold on. Nasa big link.
Yeah, maybe later we'll get back that, Gab, but maybe if you have
Ah,
some like something to add with a bit about
okay.
Agile on Scrum that you want to add. While I'm searching for the winner, so please do share your thoughts on Agile and Scrum, their mentors.
just provide your GCash number. You can get in touch with me. I'll give you my contact details later. No correct answer yet, Richmond. What is the lowest age?
Just a minute, I'm not seeing correct answer. Close, close. 18. Okay, I've seen now. It's from Grace Macafe, and the correct answer is at Joyce.
58. All right. So you're alive now. Let us continue. So if there is such thing as Agile Manifesto, as testers, we also have the testing manifesto, and we have this five. So testing throughout, over testing at the end. As I have said, we should test early and explore more. By doing so, bugs can be prevented. Testing, understanding, over checking functionality. As testers, we should understand what we are testing, what are the expected results, and if it is not clear, we should ask. Building the best system over breaking the system. Our goal is to have a working software, so why should we break it, right? So team responsibility over tester responsibility in agile methodology. It is not only the tester who should do the testing. Developers and POs as well should test because because it is our responsibility as members of the team to produce or provide the highest quality product. So, and here are 10 agile testing principles. Most of them have been mentioned already based on the agile manifestos and values. So, some of which are provide continuous feedback, deliver value to the customer, enable face to face communication, have courage, keep it simple, practice continuous improvement, respond to change, self organize, focus on people, and just enjoy testing. It is fun, telling you. So we can now see, I can show you the difference between agile and waterfall. In the first session of software testing, I think Edward can more differences between the two. So in the structure itself, agile cycle is continuous as I'm having an unstable internet. Can you still hear me?
I think you can hear you better now.
Okay. All right. So in agile cycle is continuous, as I have said, it is iterative, meaning repetitive process, whereas in waterfall, it is a sequential or has linear stages. So first comes first, like for example, if development is not yet done, testing will not yet commence. In Agile, the team delivers work in small but consumable increments using multiple methodologies, and there is flexible and continuous evolution or change is welcome. And most especially, there is customer involvement, wherein the team can have an earlier feedback from them. In Waterfall, there is a very in-depth documentation or contract negotiation. The features to be developed are fixed and there is a project manager involvement as compared to Agile where in the team is self-organizing. So this is the traditional and that is the Agile development. So we should remember this. Agile testing equation. Checking, it means efficient confirmatory testing plus exploring effect or effective exploratory testing is equal to thorough testing. All right. Thank you. These are my contacts details. That's all for now. You can get in touch with me. I have a Facebook account, email account, and LinkedIn account. And lastly, I just wanted to share my thesis in life. So I have given the choice, and my choice is to transition to QA. That's why I grabbed the chance, and my life has changed. So you can also make a choice. Thank you for listening. So I think I can stop sharing now.
Thank you, Ate Joyce, and I hope you learned, guys, about agile testing. So before we go to the Q&A and to tackle those sizzling questions, let's exercise our minds first. As Joyce mentioned earlier, we'll have a short quiz about agile testing, about what we've learned today. I'm sending the join link in the chat. We'll use AHA slides. So please use your full name, no, so that we can easily track you. Then I'll share my screen.
By the way, there will be two winners. The highest or the first would get 1,000 Gcash, and second would get 500 pesos Gcash.
Oh, please wait a moment. Then again, I've sent the link in the chat. If do use your full name when joining. I'm just writing on my screen. Sorry for the delay. Okay, sharing my screen now. So we have 64 participants now reacting. One more minute to give you guys a chance to join.
Bakit?
Um, Ate Joyce, I think you're you're unmuted. We can hear you if you're talking to someone else.
Sorry.
Last second, 10 seconds before we start our quiz. So this is a multiple choice answer naman. So if you've listened earlier, you have a clue on what to answer. Okay, okay, okay. Yan. Dami na. 5 seconds. Starting the quiz in 5, 4, 3. And do refer to your um screens, not this one. So this will just show the questions, but do refer to your screens. Starting the quiz. First question: who is responsible for prioritizing the product backlog? Is it A, product owner, project manager, lead developer, or business analyst? And the correct answer is letter A, product owner. So prioritizing the product backlog, so the one that give priorities to the product backlog. For our leaderboard, so far leading is Alan Jasper Moraga. So the quickest person to answer has the higher higher score. So go trigger happy with those fingers. Second question: which of the following best represents the agile approach to planning? And this is a long one. So planning is not part of an agile approach. Letter B, planning should be done in detail. Letter C, planning should involve the whole team, not just the project manager. Or letter D, planning should all be done by the project manager. 7 seconds to key in your answer. And the answer is letter C with 53 correct answers. Let's see our leaderboard. It's now John Lorene. Okay, moving on to question 3. How should work be allocated to the team in an agile project? A, the team leader scrum master should allocate. That should be randomly allocated. Team members should self-select. Or letter D, the most complex task should be allocated by team leader. And don't forget to click submit. Maybe you're not submitting your answers. All right, the answer is letter C. So generally in agile environment, you want to be self-organizing. That is the principle. That's why this is the answer for this question. For our leaderboard, new leader, Jordan Kayanan. Question 4. What should the developers do if the customer representative is repeatedly too busy to be available? Letter A, continue the work. Letter B, send the customer a written warning. Letter C, allow the business analyst to take on the role of proxy customer. Or letter D, to draw the problem to the attention of the Scrum Master. 5 seconds. Correct answer is letter D. So as part of the role of the Scrum Master is to clear out the impediments. That's why this is the correct answer. And our new leader, John Lorena claimed the first spot again. Question 5. The Agile Manifesto states the following values. People are more important than contracts. Working software should have priority over comprehensive. Letter C, plans should have priority over ability to respond. Letter D, contracts should be negotiated, which allow control over the people. So which is the most correct? Letter B, working software, yun yung priority natin sa Agile. Okay. John Loren is still the first. You can still keep up with the next 5 questions. Which one of the following is an important feature of the daily stand-up wash-up from meeting? A, everyone is expected to stand for the whole time. Letter B, the meeting must be kept short and well structured. And the meeting should ensure that it is clear to all which team members should be. Maybe I'm not sure what's next. No one is allowed to leave the stand-up meeting until all problems are solved or are discussed. Yes. Letter B, the meeting must be kept short and well structured. That's why we have that format. What you did yesterday, what you do today, and the impediments that you're currently encountering. Okay. Still John Loreni at the lead. Question 7. Who should attend the stand-up meetings? With a keyword being should. A, sponsor and executive management only. B, project manager, technical leads. C, project leader and customer representatives. And D, the entire development team. Yes, and the correct answer is D, the entire development team. So for during stand-ups, the product owner and the scrum master are optional. But the entire development team, developers QA, should be present during stand-up. All right. So the leaderboard didn't move for our top 3. Question 8. The Agile process encourages the team to meet regularly, has no meetings, has lengthy reporting requirements, and has no reporting requirements. Quick one for you guys. The correct answer is letter A, right? Regular meetings means short-term meetings. That's why you want it to be regular. All right. Last 2 questions. Question number 9. An agile team is self-organizing with each member having the same technical skills, collaborates and supports each team members, ensures members of the team are allocated the same per task, ensures blame is allocated fairly. And the correct answer is letter B, collaborates and supports its team members. Maybe for letter A, the one that made it wrong is having the same technical skills. So yeah, we are self-organizing, but we don't ensure that we have the same technical skills. We acknowledge that we have different skills. That's why the first one is incorrect. So sorry to those 27 who answered letter A. And I guess it moved the leaderboard as well. Richard Brillantes is currently at number 1. For the last question before we proceed to the Q&A, the agile way is to produce working product of the right quality, to produce working product after documentation has been signed off, to produce simple prototypes early, to produce products without technical integrity. Correct answer is letter A, to produce working product of the right quality early, since we wanted to deliver increments. So every sprint we deliver working products. That's how we measure the um, effectivity of our process of the agile way. The leaderboards and the winner, Richard Brillantes. All right. Joyce, how many winners do we have, Joyce? And I'll
To
take a screen.
Richmond too.
All right, and also Karen Versosa. But I'll take a screenshot of this. All right, I hope you enjoy our our quizzes. Then we'll proceed to the Q&A. But before we proceed, I'm sending the feedback for this evening, and also I'll be sending also the form for volunteers. So in case you're interested to volunteer for Ministry of Testing, we are currently accepting volunteers as well. So again, I'm sending the day 5 feedback, which we'll use later, and Ministry of Testing PH volunteer form if you're interested to volunteer. And just a reminder as well to those who are asking about recordings, the recordings of the sessions are available in the Ministry of Testing page. You can also visit our YouTube account, MOTPH, if you want to access our recordings for the previous sessions. All right, let's go through some questions.
Sorry, I need to turn off my video. I'm having internet problem.
Okay. For our first question, what does done look like for testing in a 2-week sprint? Again, what does done look like for testing in a 2-week sprint? Any takers from our mentors or Joyce?
What what's the question? What?
What does done look like for testing in a 2-week sprint? So in agile process, we define the definition of done, right? So what does it look like in testing for a 2-week sprint?
All right. So as QAs, when there are acceptance criteria, we assume that it is done when it has passed all the acceptance criteria. It has passed the regression test, or and we include also that those tickets were already code reviewed by the devs, and we it has also passed our sanity test, and as well as those compatibility testing using different browsers, and if it needs mobile testing, all the devices, the one column device, two column device, it passed also. And what else? Maybe you could add something.
Right? Any additional ideas? Gab
Yeah,
Grassel?
yeah,
Yeah,
I could
meron
add
ako.
this one.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
just a quick one. So I would probably expound this not necessarily on testing, but more on quality. So definition of done is and on the Scrum guide, it's mentioned that the definition of done is it's an agreed upon like level of quality. It could be amongst the team or like amongst the org. I mean org wide. No, so it could be depending on how you define quality. So it could be quality could testing could be part of that quality, but not just testing. So as mentioned by Madam Jocelyn kanina, that it could include those plus a lot of other things. So there's no direct answer here, but I would say na you have to be conscious what or how you define ano yung quality within your team sa product and sa org. If you have that understanding, then that's where you can say that okay, yeah, if we satisfy the agreement, then it's done. So yeah.
Your thoughts, Gab?
Yun. Yeah, i-echo ko lang yung sinabi ni Greshel, no? So it is a definition of done. Ito yung agreed upon, okay, ng team nyo, ng org, kung ano yung magko-constitute ng done ng isang user story, okay? So it may not include testing, but definitely it includes inspection. So ito yung one of the pillars of Scrum, inspection. So okay lang, pwedeng may mga chances na hindi dumaan ng testing, pero dumaan siya ng inspection by the dev or by the PO or anyone in the team. Basta dumaan siya ng inspection and yun yung napagkasunduan nyo sa definition of done, it's all good. So yun yung done ng sa isang 2 weeks sprint.
All right. For our next question, are you using V model testing too? V model testing. Any thoughts? Ngumingiti si Grassel.
No, I'll pass on this one.
Okay. So maybe I can start if I can start. So I think for V model, that model is mostly for, I would say, waterfall. So you start from requirements to the each phases. Um, although this is although it is helpful to give structure on the different processes, most likely it's not used in the agile way, right? So again, with agile being the mindset as testers, we wanted to give value as quickly as possible. Then also, as you've answered in the quiz earlier, we wanted to deliver working software at a specified time. So if we strictly follow the V model, how long should we have to wait before we deliver a working software, right? So I would say it is not commonly used in Agile. Okay. Anything to add to that from our mentors?
I think one key thing to add as well is when we are looking into agile testing, let's keep in mind the shift left testing that we readily involve the QAs in the earliest part of the development process.
All right. Thanks, Clarice. For our next question, how might testers be involved sooner during the sprint? That's a good segue to your thought, Clarice. Maybe you have some initial idea to that. How might testers be involved sooner during the sprint?
So it's a good practice that the testers are already around when you start doing the refinement of the backlogs or even during sprint planning itself. So at earliest stage, uh, that is the most ideal because during that thought process, during the sprint planning or refinement, the QAs themselves, they can start figuring out on how they can approach not just on functionality test manner but also the static testing. Let's say they figured out that this might not be possible in this specific setup, so let us involve the QAs as early as possible in the scrum ceremonies that we're performing.
Yeah. Probably to further that idea. So just to give you a background, I'm working on a startup right now. So on the conception and the product part, we all there's an agreement like amongst us that okay, whenever the like say the CEO comes up with a product, as soon as he gets like say which customers, what market, what's the possible product goal, he already shares that immediately with everyone. So not just testers, like literally everyone. So that's a for us that's a good dynamic because regardless of say you're a developer or a tester, let's say okay you're a tester, okay, the market, the customer, the product goal as early as now, we can already develop some like the understanding and also say okay what are the like alternative scenarios, what are the what ifs. You can already like come up with the what ifs as soon as like product goal, customer, and market. So I'm not sure if this is possible for like all organizations, but it could be something that we could look at. Uh, so, yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Raza. Any thoughts from anyone else? Maybe just to add just one simple uh, thing we're doing here in our team. So we're actually trying to do pre-refinement. So what does that mean? So before the actual refinement, we QAs from our team will have a short meeting, discuss what are the things for refinement, so we can actually note what some questions that we have, maybe how to test, or the data available, or even the actual specifications. We'll try to draw that out even before the refinement is done. Okay, for our next question. This is a good question. How might testers collaborate better with programmers in a sprint? So how to lessen the tension between QA and developers? How can we collaborate better? Any thoughts, Gab?
Mm, it all comes down to communication kasi, di ba? During the sprint planning or actually during backlog refinement, nagtatanungan na kayo Okay? Meron ding mga communication between them and testers kung as a tester, how will I test it? Okay, i-share mo yung information na yun with the dev. Then, at during that meeting, makikita nyo na mag-a-align kayo or yung mga misalignment nyo is mawawala. Kasi nga, nagtatanong na kayo sa bawat isa kung paano nyo naintindihan yung text, paano mag-work yung user story. So yeah, so the quick answer is communicate with your developers. Okay, have a shared have a shared um, have a shared info, have a shared understanding of what the user story does or the goal of the goal of that user story. Okay, so yun yung sagot ko.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
I agree with Gabriel. And I also make friends with the devs. Really, because every time I ask questions, they are very responsive. And another thing is when we are testing some ticket, we invite them for peer testing and they appreciate that. So that's how we conduct with our developers.
Here, do you have some thoughts on this as well?
Yeah, I agree with them because dapat diplomacy should rule, no? So we're not as testers we should not think that we're always right. So we should always look also at the perspective of the developers. Sila din dapat, no, yung perspective din nila, hindi din dapat sila lang lagi yung tama. So compromise maybe, but ayun, mas maganda yung nakakapag-test ng sabay-sabay para nakikita kung valid ba yung mga nakikitang defects or yung issues. Ayun.
All right. For our next question, who is responsible for sprint backlog of the developers? Maybe let me just first answer this quickly so that it is clear. Let me repeating the question: who is responsible for the sprint backlog of the developers? So the sprint backlog is owned by the development team, meaning the QAs and the developers. And to contrast that, the product backlog is owned by the product owner. So from the product backlog, we refine and plan what is the included in the sprint. So we select some tickets, then those selected tickets are the ones included in the sprint backlog, and that is owned by the development team, both developers and QA. So any additional thoughts from our mentors, or is it right? Quick and easy. Next one. Okay. Let me read the question. How might stop starting or start finishing look like when programmers take on more work than testers can finish in a sprint? So for context, Ate Joyce in the last slide said, stop starting, start finishing. However, programmers take on more work than testers can finish in a sprint. So any idea, any thoughts on this situation? So I guess the situation is it's difficult to finish to deliver when there are more work that the developers are pulling in from the product backlog to the sprint. That's why we cannot test it and let's say deploy it. I think that's the situation in here.
This question is a lot to unpack. Yes. So again, we have to be conscious of the capability of the team. So again, if you're like creating like depende sa vision nung nung organization nyo. So are you like an organization that likes to split yung coding and testing, or are you an organization that actually, okay, this is development, this is like the whole development thing. It doesn't, I mean, it's not, it's more important to define yung parang tech stack na kailangan instead of like assigning one person to a certain like task. So that could be the answer na kailangan you need to revisit na, okay, do we actually how do we define the team? Kailangan ba talaga ng testers will strictly do the testing, Or is it something na okay, test the QAs could probably champion siguro like identifying scenarios instead of actually executing, and everyone can do the execution, something like that. So yun yung possible na makapag-solve. So it's like revisiting yung like why is your team like made that way. So if napag-agree nyo na talagang okay, developers code lang, test, QA's testing lang, then yung sagot dito might be simpler that okay, you just match the capacity of both. But in reality, it's not that simple. So yeah.
I think Anthony has something to say. Anthony?
Hello, I hope you can hear me. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
so the context is about Kanban. Okay. So generally, Kanban applies with limits. Okay. So in that way, that will control the flow of tasks. So in short, that should balance between how much task is being done at the moment, for example, for the QA, and also how much tasks are being done for the developers. So it with limits, okay, meaning when you say limit, it limits, to start, another task. No? If you have reached already the width limit, no, meaning to say they could do other tasks perhaps so that we could balance in terms of the flow of uh, tasks. I think those are measures in terms of how you can make your Kanban flowing continuously. Okay, and that's it.
Thank you, Anthony. So yeah, the keyword that Anthony gave is WIP limit, work in progress limit. Um, any other thought for this question? Um, yeah, let me read that follow up from the chat. What if there are too many user stories? Any experience on that from our mentors? If yeah,
Yeah, with regarding to that, kung what if there are too many user stories, in the first place, bakit kayo mag-pull in dun sa sprint nyo na hindi nyo kayang i-commit? Diba? So, umpisa pa lang, sprint planning pa lang, nagano na kayo na velocity ng team, kung ilan nyo kayang i-commit. Okay? So, if there are too many user stories, and kung marami talagang time, maybe next sprint, you should change or you should adapt. Baka may something mali dun sa estimations niya. Kaya nagkakaroon kayo ng room for to pull in user stories, di ba? But yeah, short answer then, WIP limit. Regardless kung maraming user stories, okay, the WIP limit should limit yung team sa pag-pull ng user stories. Okay? Tapos, WIP by column or WIP by individual? It is by column. Okay? Kung ano na yung status ng isang ticket. Okay? Kung nasa na siya dun sa the SDLC.
yeah, maybe just touch a bit on yeah, yeah, touching that question, is there a limit for user stories? I think what happens normally that at least before what I know about Scrum is that's why we're the team is referring to the velocity. So how much stories did we deliver in this sprint? So if we gather that data historically, we have some sense of what we can deliver. Let's say in the first sprint, we're able to deliver, let's say 50, in the second one, 60 stories. So there's a sense on what we can deliver. So given that historical data, maybe we can assess this new sprint, we're just gonna select maybe 50 stories worth of tickets of work. So I think that's one guidance, I would say, not strictly a limit, because in general, Agile or Scrum doesn't give you the how. It's more on just guidelines. So maybe to answer that. All right, moving to the next question, since we have a lot of interesting questions here. What is the best practice to estimate duration of testing of a module? Big one, big question again. What is the best practice to estimate duration of a testing of a module?
Estimate with the team. don't estimate it alone.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Tama.
I'm assuming that question as well. Grassly.
Siguro siguro nung earlier days nung QA pa ako, ang ginagawa namin by default is kung ano yung effort in hours na ginawa na for development, yun din yung effort for testing. Doon mag-start. Okay? So yun yung quick and dirty na estimation. Kung ilan yung dev hours, hindi yung test hours. Pero in reality, mas maliit usually, okay, yung testing hours. Okay? Kasi minsan, may mga user stories na dikit-dikit, kabit-kabit, pwede mo siyang madaanan ng testing lang. Okay? But do it very cautiously. Kasi pwedeng similar yung user stories, pero yung acceptance criteria nila iba-iba. Pero yeah, quick and dirty, it should be the same. And gaya ng sabi ni Grace nga, do not estimate alone. Estimate should be with the whole team. Development and testing.
All right. Any thoughts?
To chime in as well, we can approach it in a manner wherein we divide, maybe it's a large module, so we can divide it into smaller features that's in that specific large module. And you can approach it in a manner na you divide the QA activities, like from test case creation up until the test execution, the verification as well. So you can try to divide this large task into minimal subtasks so your team can estimate it in a way that is a bit more ideal. Yep.
Thanks, Clarice. For next question, I'm gonna take this next one since we've touched a bit of this earlier. I'm sorry, not this one. Where is it? What can other programmers learn about testing to help with testers? So we touched this a bit about earlier, asking them to maybe help in testing. So what can they learn so that they can help us testers? Any thoughts?
How to write clean code.
So that's one. Maybe this is what I thought. So since we have discussions early in refinement, more or less we'll discuss as testers how how we'll test the feature that the developer will do. So given that, we're giving them a mindset. This is how we'll test. This is probably the some scenarios that you may not be able to catch. Since we'd like to discuss that in refinement, diba? Yung mga edge cases, yung mga special cases that we see. So by sharing that, I think that that's one starter. By sharing that, how we think as testers, how we look at the edge cases, they'll have an idea on what to catch in coding. Any more thoughts on this question?
To further expound on that, we can also encourage the programmers to practice the unit testing, like the dev tests, because quality is not just the responsibility of the testers, like to do execution of the test cases on the front end, but it's really start within the code itself.
All right.
Also, probably last one. Again, please don't limit testing to just like testing the functionality and all. So there are so many facets of testing that we need to explore that. Yeah.
All right. For next question, maybe we'll extend a bit for just to answer some of the questions. Maybe we'll take maybe 4 or 5 more before we close for the evening. Next question. What kind of game can I have with my development team to help share challenges of agile testing? So how can they share or paano lalabas yung mga challenges? What kind of game can I have with my development team? So I'm assuming the scenario is this person wanted to share the challenges of agile testing. So maybe what is the best way on sharing the challenges or how to bring out the challenges of agile testing to the team? Kasi maybe sometimes it's hard to discuss it straight, right? Na ano kaya yung challenges natin. So paano natin to draw out yung challenges from the team?
Ay, nasagot na. Retro. Kasi baka magkaroon pa ng ang tricky kasi kapag gagamit ka pa ng game is ma-misinterpret or hindi mo masabi yung totoong gusto mong yung gusto mo talagang sabihin. So why not just communicate during retro? Retro is a safe space for everyone naman. So there should be no blame. Wala dapat blame game. So it should be constructive. So kung ano yung nararanasan mo na challenges during Agile testing, share it with the whole team. And someone or at least the Scrum Master should be able to address or should find someone that will address that concern or issue. Yan. Or maganda rin yung invite them to have drinks. Yeah.
Any more takes on this from our mentors?
Tama lang yung sinabi ni Gabriel. That's why dapat natin, yung value ng openness sa team. So we should be open. So anything na may problem tayo or na hindi natin maintindihan, sabihin natin sa team natin. Huwag tayo mahihiya. Kasi yan yung value ng Scrum being open with each other.
All right. For the next question, this is also an interesting one and probably big. What would you advise to the QC team that will move from waterfall to agile so that they can adapt easily?
Agile transformation.
Not easy. It's not easy. So let's get that out of the way. It's not easy.
Would you like to elaborate, Grasa?
Uh, sorry. So yeah, there are so many things na involved dito. So I would start big thing is the culture and also the organization. So usually depended also the product, your customer. Ang dami. So again, you just have to be conscious then. So sometimes let's say example, we have a market that is not fast moving, then waterfall is the way to go. So minsan hindi naman talaga kailangan ng agile transformation kasi it's more fitting to use like some other like ways of working. And then again, ayun, hindi ibig sabihin na lahat or majority nag-agile sila or whatever framework that we need to, this is the So again, you have to match it, yun nga, organizational capability, the team, the product and all. So there's no simple answer to this. But if in any case na mag-shift, it's not easy because of the said variables. So yun.
Yeah. And dagdag ko lang din doon, no? Hindi lang siya, it will not really start lang sa team. Meron dapat effort from the top down, starting from the top down to the operations ng team. Meron din dapat pull or may push from the top, meron ding pull from the operations or yung nasa ground na team. Okay? They should meet halfway doon. Hindi siya one person or one team effort lang. So yeah, so again, communication ulit yung sagot dito. Communicate with dapat may buy-in ka from your leadership, buy-in from the organization as well, and buy-in ka rin from the team, ng team. So, mahirap as it is yung magpa-implement ng digital transformation sa team na nagkakasundo na. What more yung hirap kapag hindi sila nagkakasundo. So, mas maganda, align lahat bago magsimula ng digital transformation. Okay?
Thank you, Grasa Gab. Any other thoughts from our mentors? Okay, so probably last 3 questions before we close. Next one, what is the testing type Agile use in every sprint? Or how can you plan testing to be used in the sprint? Testing type or planning about testing that you'll do in the sprint? Siguro let me start by saying the tickets that we pull into the sprint. So that's when we start to find out what testing will do. So often we'll do functional testing naman per ticket. Each ticket has some acceptance criteria. Then from that on, that's where decide how to what test are we going to do. So probably their sprint will focus on functional testing. So usually straightforward, just follow the acceptance criteria. Then there may be tickets coming in about maybe accessibility testing or other non-functional testing. So again, difficult question to straight answer to straight to give a straight answer. But I would say depending on the um, sprint you pulled in, sorry, the tickets you put in, that's when you decide um, what to test. So common practice, but again, not technically advised by Scrum or Agile. We also usually have automated testing within the sprint, just because we want to be able to have feedback early, right? And automation is one way to do that. But again, it is not an Agile or Scrum concept, but with the idea of giving value, of giving as soon as possible early feedback. That's why we have those in place. Ayun siguro yung paano ko sasagutin yun. Any thoughts? Ay, si Grassel meron siyang chinat. Would you like to share a bit about that?
Yeah, again, this is more awareness of what are the testing types, how are they applied, and what are the product you're working on. So I would spend time on those rather than like directly answering the question. So if you're in a pinch na you don't know what kind of testing you need to do, then that's the problem that you might need to address. So kasi hindi naman laging templated in a sense na okay, these are one setting story or requirement, matik ito yung gagawin din. You have to think about it. So having that enough like knowledge and thought process on identifying which testing is applicable is key. So yeah.
Okay. Moving tayo sa next question. Mentors, or may thoughts pa kayo? And a bit related to that is the next one. How do you maintain test cases to keep them up to date in agile testing? So you have plan na, you have some execution. So now how do you maintain the test cases? Any thoughts?
Mhm. Ang ginagawa ng team ko is nag-aalat sila talaga ng parang maintenance na use na task at the start of every sprint. Just to maintain yung mga test cases nila. Usually ito is yung mga regression test cases. Okay? So usually after a major release or after every sprint, kung may nagbago dun sa mga user stories before, i-maintain it. Meron silang time allocated for maintaining those test scripts. Okay? It would help na yung structure ng product backlog nyo is okay, na madali na maintainable siya. Okay? Hindi yung kalat-kalat. It would really help. Okay? So that would be my answer.
Anthony, you're raising your hand.
Well, number one, maybe you have to think about why you're writing that piece.
Anthony, sorry, can you repeat that? It's a bit unclear, so can you repeat the first sentence?
So number one is you have to ask yourself, why are you writing the test cases? And how much time you are writing it and maintaining it over in terms of testing. So those are the things that you have to balance in some aspects, and you have to document the things that is critical because naturally you will spend more time with maintaining than testing. So you have to figure out in your team. In our team, we don't require testing. It's up to them if they wanted to write their own executions and so. But of course, the essence of trust is integrity. You know? Those are pillars of Agile that you're doing with. You can only document what you think is critical so that you can spend more time in terms of testing or probably experiment further in terms of how you can improve your testing you could probably use some tools, or you could do the approach with exploratory testing. But of course, context is different. If you are testing for a medical devices, then naturally you have to do everything, document it. But so those are pretty much, I would say. It depends. It depends on the case also. That's it.
So to highlight what I gathered from Anthony's answer, document only if it's critical. I think documentation is more of a also a waterfall mindset, and iba yun din sa ano natin sa manifesto. Gusto natin yung collaboration over documentation, yung communication over documentation. And yung mga examples na sinight ni Anthony for critical is, for example, you're doing test for medical, and that's one critical software. That's why we need to document. So case-to-case basis, but we usually, with agile mindset, we document only as needed. All right, for our final question for tonight, and maybe a good parting way to our participants. What are the common problems that your team encountered, and how did you fix them? So maybe some a scenario where you had some difficult problem, maybe in testing, in agile, and how are you able to overcome that problem? Is Joyce still here? Joyce, maybe we'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Yes, I'm still here, Richmond.
All right.
Siguro ang yung pinaka matinding problem is when after the deployment, there are issues in production. So what does our team do? So usually sa team ko ngayon, they do the hot hot fix in production. Yun yung pinakang mabilis na fix. Yun yung ginagawa ng mga devs namin sa ngayon. Otherwise, i-roll back yun. So, yun yung nangyayari. Reality.
Thank you, Joyce. Trace or Grassel, do you have something in mind?
I think one of the hardest problems we need to, or we are still facing right now, is yung like separation of like the task. And it's really hard to actually convince that as let's say let's say a developer, that hey, can you actually like do the testing, because there's like a notion that, oh, we have QA, we do the tester. So I have an experience na before wala kaming QA, like things are actually faster. Then nung naglagay ng QA, the QA actually became the bottleneck. Kasi they have the impression that we have like a QA, then we're gonna dump everything on testing to that person, and then it actually parang mas nakasama pa siya. Kasi unlike before na developers, okay, we need to do everything, and they were capable of doing that. Maybe some little improvements na siguro may na-miss out na scenarios or something, but like the capability is there. Pero ang nangyari once we had the QA, then they parang, okay, I'm gonna drop everything in terms of testing. I'm just gonna like outsource it or give it to this QA. And yeah, that's a really hard challenge because parang parang common notion siya amongst like majority. So yeah.
Would you like to add, Trace?
Yeah, from our team, the common problem is really relating to the users, because we thought that we planned very well of this specific feature, we tested it out, but when you give it to the user, they use it differently. So that's one key thing as well that is common, in companies catering with technology. The users use this application in a different manner. That's why there are issues arising. So how do we approach that is really having focus group with with this type of users who will be using them, really looking into on how they will be approaching the application itself, so you can cover it in planning as well and in testing.
Right. And Anthony also mentioned in the chat that faster is not always equal to quality. And there has to be some balance on um, quality and speed. And faster is not always not equals to quality. So that would end our Q&A for tonight. I will try to answer the questions again in the MOTPH bootcamp group. Okay. Before we go to the raffle later, I had message regarding the quiz earlier. I had message that Richard Brillantes ay paubaya na sa mga next tama po ba sa Richard? Are you giving your first prize to the other? Sabi ni Anthony ay you're going to skip na. Yes, ayan, meron tayong confirmation in the chat. So if that's the case, our two winners for our quizzes are Karen Versosa and John Lorene. Ayun, okay. So just a few housekeeping before we close. As mentioned, Ministry of Testing is looking for volunteers. I'm gonna send the form again for one last time. So if you're interested to volunteer and be one of our mentors, or you have something else in mind, want to make the bootcamp next year dynamic, some ideas, feel free to join our group, be a volunteer by signing up in the form that I've sent in the chat. And again, those who are looking for recordings, you can go to our YouTube page at MOTPH, or go to our Facebook page, Ministry of Testing Philippines, and you'll find the live stream recording of our sessions. And again, that concludes our session. So let me share our screen for our one final raffle for our feedback. Okay. For our previous winners, as Anthony mentioned, we'll contact you by the end of this bootcamp, maybe after some housekeeping, after we look at the details. So for our day 5 winner, for our feedback raffle, he or she is Manilyn Season. Are you still here? Nandito ka pa ba, Manilyn? Say present. Ayun. Okay. Congratulations, Manilyn Season. And that ends our 5-day bootcamp for this year's Essentials Test Automation Bootcamp. Thank you again to our sponsors, Cambridge University Press, Lambda Test, DVA Store, and Deltec. Thank you to our participants who have stayed us in the past 5 days. Medyo mahirap, no? Challenging, but you've been with us. Thank you to our mentors who have graced us with their of testing. And I hope that this doesn't end for you, dear participants. This is just a bootcamp. This is only the start. And I hope this open opportunities to all of you and your testing journey. This is Richmond Camero. Thank you very much and have a good evening, everyone.
And thanks to Johnny, of course.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yes. Johnny for our Zoom live stream, back end Slido. So thank you, Johnny.
Bye. Thank you.